$150 tomorrow. It's really the Apple story, though, into the close. As here we go, only 10 seconds left. Now, this closing show brought to you by, and the bell, brought to you by Oragenics, of course. Get your concussion care with Oragenics and go find out what they have to offer. All right, man, that wraps up the day. It looks like the NASDAQ goes out, wow, up 1.8%. One of the best days in a long time that I can remember for the NASDAQ. Finishing the day up nearly 2%. Wow. ES up 1.2%. That, again, is another hot dog close for all of that. Bitcoin nicely cooking today at 115. Get your glizzies on Bitcoin as that starts to go as well. All right, enough of the annoying hot dog guy right there. I'm Sean. That was a fantastic closing show. Thank you, everybody, for joining us again. We're having a lot of fun here. It's about to get even better. You're doing the cameras, though. Are we okay, Fabian or Andre? Get the thumbs up right now. All right, car is now out, so they're all starting to flow. Enough of me, more of them. I'll see you guys at 8:30. Ciao.
Thank you very much, Sean. Brought to you by Beta Pro by Globex is your market recap show. Starting off with Avis. Well, it was up, but coming right. Oh, now starting to bounce again. Wow, there you go. That was $10 up, $10 down, and $15 up here on Avis. So right away, you know you're in earnings season when you got these bamboozlers. I haven't seen it hit the wire, the numbers yet. Oh, Dara does have it, but Avis right now up 12% right off.
Wow, 19%. All right, right off the bat. These explosive moves. All right, listen, this is Monday madness. All right, the market melt up has been a phenomenal one, right? And we prepared you for this, right? That's right, the unique trading group here, where strategy meets mindset and discipline turns into income. If you've been watching and keeping up, just a video over the weekend would have prepared you to not get trapped and to take opportunity right there in your hand. All right, that's the power of patience right there in reach. All right, now I want you to see the receipts here. Okay, right here, if you didn't see it, all right, this video right here. Okay, SPY insider leak, market rally, we predicted these levels. All right, now some of these levels are going to be playing out all week, and this video is going to prepare you for what's coming up next. So you want to stick around, right? You want to stick around because this video right here is going to be very valuable. All right, we'll be right back after the break. What's up, traders? Listen, welcome back. All right, this is the unique trading group where strategy meets mindset and discipline turns into income. And like I informed you, this is an episode of Monday Madness. We are back. That's right. Right now, the system is flashing green. The market is lit. SPY's breaking out. Tesla's going vertical, right? Straight up, right? No days off, right? And retail's going wow. We even had GLD. That's right. Gold hitting its peak, flushing as the SPY rally. The perfect inverse effect, okay? And you see the numbers, you see the code, the liquidity pulses, order imbalances, stop runs, short squeezes, right? Opportunities everywhere, right? Now, the market makers, they're the agents, and we're very aware. We're Neo, and our mission today, right? We're going to decode the illusion, and we're going to trade the reality, all right? So let's go ahead and hop over to the charts. I know you guys are ready, all right? This has been one of the best moves I've seen, one of the best days in the NASDAQ and for the SPY that I've seen in a long time. And if you didn't partake in it, it's okay. Don't kill yourself, beat yourself up, right? Just relax, right? There's always an opportunity in the market. As long as so much as you prepare yourself, all right, analyze your charts to find your entries, your exit, and your risk, right? Remember, that's what it's about. Consistency and capital preservation when it comes to trading, indoor investing. Now, I'm a coach, indoor mentor. I'm not a financial advisor. These videos and this education is for that exactly education, you know, right? And entertainment purposes only. So with that said, SPY, all right, now we are on a 1 hour time frame right now, and never mind these lines I have on the chart. All right, I can clear these lines off for you guys if you need. All right, feel like that'd be the best thing to do. Now, usually when you do technical analysis, you know, you have some close candles, right, where you can kind of keep up with things, but we have a breakout, right? Two big gaps, and this is very significant. Yeah, this area right here is very significant on the SPY. All right, we have these big breakouts, All right. Now, remember, we talked about on previous videos, right? Previous videos we discussed right here on the SPY Insider League, and use this on any chart, right? The secret behind market moves. All right. These videos itself within the past week, I was informing you guys about how to spot out certain opportunities in the market. All right. And that market opportunity came here over the weekend when we had Trump tweet. Now, we didn't know when or what he was going to say, right? But we got into position. And if you remember, right, hasn't been so long ago, right? I was mentioning the best risk to reward, a high probability setup, was to wait for the pullback and to buy above the 21. And we got that same move here. All right. We got that same move. All right. The only difference is we didn't even get a chance to get a pullback after the 23rd on Thursday. All right. Friday came. We were already moving up. The weekend came and we gapped up. This is a 2 gap. All right. So a lot of people thought that the gap was going to get filled, and they bought puts today. They bought puts over the weekend thinking that we were going to go lower, and they got short squeeze. That's what a short squeeze is in very simple forms. Traders, just like you listening, whether you're new, advanced, or immediate, you know the drill, right? And if you don't, now you do know, like the late, great Biggie once said, right? And so now you know that once rookies chase and they don't have any context and they assume with their emotions, not skill, right? Not a trading plan, not a statistical edge, right? But emotions, I think, which is a very bad language for a trader. They use that information to base the trade on, and they get squeezed, all right? And the more intensified that they are going against the grain, the more powerful the move is. And you see that right in front of you. And we had a very, very powerful day today. Now, we are currently sitting at 685. Could there be some profit taken? Of course. There could be stops, that could be run. That was a big move up, and we have a lot of gaps. And so I would expect with earnings and with some data releasing coming up that you could possibly see some downturn, and maybe, just maybe, be able to take advantage of these breakout pullbacks that we always talk about. You know, remember, the breakout pullbacks are important because it gives you that best risk to reward, right? A high probability setup. And coming tomorrow, we have CPI, all right? Later on this week, we have some FOMC members speaking, okay? And some couple of other things going on throughout the week leading up until Friday. And so you want to be aware of the economic data that's going to be out. That's going to affect the market and affect the prices, all right? That is real important. Now, I want you to check out Tesla with me here real quick, all right? I want to stress the wait for pullbacks. We got parabolic move, guys. We got parabolic moves, and you don't want to be the person that chases, all right? You do not want to be the person that chases. You understand what I'm saying? All right? Those moves on the SPY, all right? We called them, we mapped those moves out. We predicted these price levels before the crowd saw them coming. You understand? We mapped those out. This is an auction theory at work, okay? Let's just revisit real quick. I just want you to understand, like, it's auction level at a place where you're able to see buyers and sellers agree at a certain price, right? The agents are probing liquidity, testing the bids, sweeping the offers, right? Expanding the auction range, all right, making it wider. Okay, who's still asleep, right? The melt up is real. You guys see it in front of you. The melt up was real today, all right? But it's built on imbalance. Every candle is data. Every breakout is bait. So when you see SPY flying, ask yourself, who's chasing and who's distributing, all right? We're not chasing the agents. We're tracking their footprints, all right? The banks, aka the banks, all right? So let's move on to Tesla. Thank you guys for watching this video thus far. If you have been enjoying the commentary and enjoying some of the value you've been getting from the channel thus far, please do myself a favor. All right, do myself a favor, do yourself a favor, and the community watching. All right, for those who are not able to see these right away, hit that like button, smash that like button, right? And consider subscribing to the channel. That way you do not miss any of these valuable videos that I drop. Now, right in front of you is Tesla. Let's talk about it. Now, the glitch in the system, All right, this chart looks like a vertical stream of code. All right, just straight up, right? You get those bounces. We've seen it before. Nothing really new, right? Nothing really new. We get these bounces. All right, we get these bounces on Tesla back on the 23rd. All right, In one day, we went from 414 to 450, right? I came out and I told you guys about these parabolic moves on Tesla. We got that bounce above the 21, see what I'm saying? Another bounce here on the 21. Look at these moves from these pullbacks, slingshot reversals. We get that pullback, all right? And then we buy the dip, retest these highs, all right? Once we broke out here, breakout pullback, that dip got bought up again today, right at this previous range right here. Very easy to see, this previous range right here. All right, these moves are right here, guys, right? Not really hard to see. Short squeeze happened on Tesla today because you have people trying to short a market at a time where we are having liquidity and quantitative easing, where the Feds are pumping money, and it's a lot of volatility, all right? A lot of volatility and a lot of optimism for the future when it comes to stocks and AI, all right? The market makers, guys, listen, the market makers, the agent of control. Let's step outside for a second, all right? Just step outside of the chart for a second. I want you to think about something, all right? Think about this. Who are the agents, right? Who are the agents? The market makers, the algorithms, okay? The ones that so-called manipulate the market, that the retail traders think, the typical trader thinks that the market has been manipulated, when it's really psychology, it's algorithms and computers, and the ones who know math and symmetry and critical thinking, and they use their edge to their advantage. These are the ones who are playing a probabilistic game, okay? So this is what makes it an auction. It's like poker, all right? It's an auction in real time. All right, a real trader, your job isn't to win. It's to maintain order, okay? To keep liquidity flowing. That's the point. It's to keep your money flowing, be consistent, locking in your profit, staying in the game. That's what it's about. All right? You don't want to get caught up into the emotion. All right? You want to, like I said, keep the flow. All right? To trap emotion and harvest imbalance. Every time the crowd reacts emotionally, all right, the computer, the algorithm, they profit from that reaction. That's what you see on the chart. So what do we do? What do we do as traders? We stop reacting and we start observing. The same thing we do now. As you're watching this video, realizing that you're getting value from all the years or maybe months and days of struggling with trading, maybe needing to hear the right thing that'll switch that light on for you to maybe be more disciplined and to really observe your actions when it comes to trading. How else is someone else able to teach, right? It has to be something you're missing. And even though you might not get it in one day or 1 hour, right? The constant continuous learning that you do will push you further and to keep you sustained, right? Never risk money that you can't afford to lose. But having a mentor and mastering one strategy, mastering one stock, all right, studying and screen time, all right, will be the best thing for you. Pattern recognition on a chart. And someone like me provides that. So consider subscribing to the channel. If you are new or beginner, check out the link below, all right? Join a thriving community. We have things for everybody on different levels. I have a book that I wrote for the trading community, all right down below. And I also have a beginner section in my YouTube channel for you guys to have. If you're a beginner, immediate and or advanced, all right? There's a playlist for you to be able to catch up. There's a series for mindset as well. That's what we provide. All right. I want you guys to understand that I'm going to teach you to learn the behavior, the rhythm, the timing that you need in order to be a consistent trader. All right. Capital preservation, risk management, how to manage a trade. All right. When the agents run your stops, right? Remember, we're Neo in the Matrix. And when the market makers run your stops, the algorithms, all right, we see the setup. When the bait comes for the crowd, we fade that illusion. All right. You can't fight the system with emotion, but you beat it with awareness, all right? That's the whole point of this, all right? The auction theory. So as you look at these charts, and you say to yourself, how come I missed a move? Or how come how come I got into a trade and I'm losing money or I'm blowing my account? Typically if you go back and look at what time you bought, right? You say to yourself, well, man, I can't see these moves before they happen, right? Duh, right? But it's the human behavior that causes these patterns, these chart patterns, and it's human psychology, right? How does a typical person think? Let's keep this simple, keep it stupid, right? Listen, somebody took their profits here at the top, for example. Why is that? Because they got into a trade early. They bought the dip as it fell before and they rode it up, all right? And they're taking a chance and taking an opportunity to take some of their profit. Okay, that's what's happening here. Somebody's taking their profit here, and as price falls, right, price continues to fall, the person who is getting into a trade short in the market to make money down, they're playing a trend. And I want you to see this trend is real simple. Okay, look at this trend. They're playing a trend, all right, a simple downtrend that most people overlook, can't even see the pattern because they're so stuck chasing or trying to scalp or some arbitrary beliefs with no trading plan. But this could be real simple. Somebody who wanted to trade a trend, let's say that's the bottom, and we're going to use this one maybe as the top because that's where it started from. All right, but we also have a 21 right here. Okay, we have a 21. And so if you could take another parallel channel and match that 21, you can kind of get a better parallel on a trend down that the Tesla was forming on a 5-minute time frame. Now watch this. Somebody, remember, they bought them down here above the 21, ATM sound, right? Consolidation, waiting, right? Even though you see a W shape for a more smaller scalp to scalp these little risk to rewards right here, you know. And if you notice how price falls back down, all right, is resetting to a previous range, right? We have a previous range. Remember, the ranges act like magnets, right? Ranges act like magnets, and you have the amount below and the amount above. Okay, that's what you have. All right, somebody took their profit. Stay with me. Here's the trend. We fall down, go back up, and we reject the 21. That's a lower high. Fall back down on the parallel trend line, right? Retrace back up, reject the 21. Same scenario, creating another lower high. Fall back down, reject the 21, creating another lower high. Fall back down, retrace, rejecting the 21, forming another lower high. All right, I can keep going. You guys see that? Retrace back to the 21, reject. All right, I can keep going. All right, but right here is where, for some reason, is where somebody bought a put, or maybe right here, and they bought more puts on the market thinking that Tesla would still fall when this was a previous range here. Okay, not only that, but a consequence added on, right, as a fuel to the consequence of that error, that trading error, is that somebody was taking their profits and somebody's actually buying. So somebody chased with emotion instead of understanding what was happening and seeing that. Now, if that was you, now you get to know different the next time this happens, because you're going to get the same opportunity. Because guess what? There's going to be somebody that's going to chase Tesla at the wrong time, right? Because they're trading against sophisticated people and computers that have advanced orders on the market and trading a different system. See, if you didn't know, now you know that you're trading against other people. This is a professional business, okay? It's like poker, all right? It's a casino, all right? The only difference between this and a casino is the fact that whenever you go to a casino and they have like a slot machine, let's say, that has those 3 symbols in the middle that have to match up in a line, it makes you win, right? You win something, but you have to pull that lever. All right, you can't get that 3 in a row pattern without pulling that lever and putting your money in. Okay, you can't get the pattern without putting your coins in or whatever to get that slot pullback, right? But in trading, the only difference is that you can see the pattern, right? The metaphor, the correlation between the casino game with the three numbers or the 3 treasure boxes beside each other, right? The metaphor is that with the stock charts, you can see the pattern before you put your money in. So that's why spotting patterns is a good thing in the market when you're a trader, so that you can identify high probability setups, pattern recognition. That's the difference between trading and a casino. If I could say one, is that I can see a pattern on the stock before I decide to put my money in. The market can't move unless you put your money in there. Unless you click the buttons to put the money in there. So just think about that. Now, somebody's going to chase, right? Now, you see how the market has, we have left here, came back and reset, all right? Same scenario that we have, just to keep up with what I'm teaching you, the same range here that got bought up here, right, strong, as it dropped and came back to that same area here. Let's fast forward over here. People got out to their profit. You got people chasing the top, trying to buy more, as folks are unloading their profit, riding the trend back down to the same demand zone. All right, stay with me. And now you have this same demand zone right here, okay? The same demand zone, all right? So you have what they call maybe a breakout pullback, okay? Now, this doesn't have to be a breakout pullback where you get this scenario, right? You know, you see the gap here, right? You have your clear gap. This is a gap right here, this circle. In between this area here is your gap, okay? But breakout will be here, breaking out, okay? We're forming this, maybe possibly be an inverse curve handle, right? All right, and what do we do? We retrace right back to this previous range. The same thing like below us, the same thing below us, just a smaller range, okay? Now, we could bounce here just to do what? Retest 458 and 460, just to catch some late buyers who are chasing again, right? Just to reject from here. We're gonna make that a red line. Now, why is that? Now, if you can see that, and if that makes sense to you, if you can see what I'm saying, right here is where price fell again. Human psychology is trapping in traders with trading errors. I'm just teaching you guys that. Whether you're using patterns, measure moves, the VWAP, Fibonacci, all of them sync in together if you didn't know. A lot of people are saying the same thing. They just don't know it. They're just using different terms. All right, and I wanted you guys to understand that. All right, now going forth with this Tesla trade here, this is very important. All right, this is powerful because you could get the same scenario. Now we could consolidate right here, right? We pumped up, right? Psychological level was what? 450. All right, we got past 450. Where's 450 on the chart? Right here. At an obvious range. So this is a psychological level that we couldn't get past, but we got past it here on a 5-minute time frame, and we broke out and pulled back, then we bounced. So it's a possibility that we can continue higher. We have to open up higher than Tesla's previous close, okay? So tomorrow you watch for that. That's your indication, all right? Above the 21 right here at 453.60, that's what you want to look for. All right, that's a pivot point for calls, and you want to watch for the previous close. The previous close on Tesla today is 452.42, and we are currently above that. So as long as we stay above that, we can see some more moves to retest these highs at 460. Okay, remember I told you Tesla wants higher. The higher time frame is saying higher. 480, 500, 600, even 700, 800. These are just targets. All right, subjective targets over time into next year, into a Christmas rally. All right, these are just my projections, but right now on the micro, the 5-minute, right, you're seeing these moves in real time that you can day trade. So rewind the video if you need to. Okay, give yourself some grace. All right, don't stress at all. Right, don't stress because you don't need to stress. All right. Also, while we're at it, ASST. Parabolic move, okay? Really, really good stock. I threw it out to the community as a swing trade, all right? And this stock went up towards the end of the day. More volume pumped, all right? You don't want to chase these stocks ever again here on AST. We do have a gap here. The option flow is showing some things in the option chain, okay? I have bought some shares. I formed the group about shares and options. Okay, those did well, as well as the SPY call out and as well as the Tesla call out. All right, you guys can be a part of this too, where we don't only just give out call outs, we teach you how to fish. All right, don't expect to learn trading in 1 week, don't expect to learn trading in a month. All right, trading, getting your skill, finding consistency comes within you, that person, the time you put in. All right, how smart you are as a person, realizing that trading is human behavior, personal development. How patient are you? How disciplined are you to stick to your plan? These are real things that matter when it comes to a trading. How to move up your stop, how to protect your capital in chaos, right? How to manage a lot of money, right? Managing small amounts of money before you get into the big ones. That's what it's about, all right? ASST, all right, had a technical breakout, and now we are ranging. This is forming a possible bull flag measured move, so stand patient, okay? We went up about $1 or $2. If we break over 170, we can see another leg up to $2 and $3. All right. You want to understand that the melt-ups aren't luck, they're structure, and structure always leave footprints. And like I always say, all right, fear brings opportunity. That's right, fear brings opportunity. The group that I started, the Unique Trading Group, really resembles the market from the 10 years that I've been trading, studying, right? The market is unique itself, all right? And so you want to remember that, all right? When headlines get loud, all right, the political tension, the macro noise, Trump in the mix, inflation chatter, that's a system injecting volatility. The agents use fear to distract traders from structure, but we see through that, all right? Stay strong, you guys. Pay attention to what's really going on. While the others are panicking, we are positioning. While others chase, we wait, all right? We're waiting for daily closes and daily opens, all right? Previous range breaks, pullbacks to the 21 EMA, right? Waiting for previous demand levels and previous highs for targets, right? Being in the flow of things instead of chasing green and red candles. That's the difference, because patience and chaos is what separates traders from the participants. All right. Now, the discipline protocol. Here's the play. I want you to watch the code and watch the order flow, not the emotion. Tomorrow, it's going to be a lot of things happening. It's going to be a lot of traders chasing, but you're going to be waiting for the same levels. All right. I want you to control your reaction. That's how you dodge agents' traps. That's how you dodge the trap of yourself. Always define your risk. Never trade blind in this simulation that we call a stock market. All right. Never do that. Okay, guys. For those who are listening and really get this, you're going to change the way you trade, because it really means something. These are not just made up words. This really comes from a place. Okay. I take my time, I research, and I really take my time to give you guys this information on these charts, because I know how hard it was when I first started. It was very hard for me, but I didn't stop. Okay. So discipline. All right. Think about that. Discipline. It isn't optional. It's your armor. If you come up with a trading plan, stick to it. I'll keep it that simple. Stop deviating. Stop letting another trade Discord or another person you talk to or a headline sway you. Focus on what you got going on. Do your studying. Make sure that it's not a sloppy edge, right? Or a sloppy risk to reward, right? But watch the market. Journal. Notice its behaviors so that you can start spotting out opportunities, all right? Because this melt up is real. It's a reality. All right. So yes, the market melt up is real. Now let's get to these charts. All right. SPY. What are we going to do? What are you going to do tomorrow? Okay. Are you going to wait for a pullback to 684? Are you going to wait for a pullback to 682 with the news? Or are you going to wait for the gap fill? Which one looks like something you would rather do? Because if we get a pullback below this 21, we could go try to retest these lows at 682. Possibly trapping some more people trying to short the market once we fall back to these prices of 683. But if we can break below here and we on low volume, right? No bulls and they're exhausted, and we get volume from the bears, okay? We can go and fill these gaps. To fill these gaps all the way back down to 678, just to reset to go higher. All right, so it's two things you want to be thinking about: a gap fill and go, and a gap fill and reversal. Gap fill and go, and a gap fill and reversal. We've talked about this before in previous videos. If the gap starts to fill, you want to see this prices falling, okay? Breaching the inside of this gap right here, okay? Inside of this gap right here, okay? That's what we're looking at, okay? Price falls. We make these kind of moves, right? Breakout, pullback, okay? End up flushing back down, but we're filling the gap. A gap fill and reversal, what means we go back to the upside. Okay, maybe forming a head and shoulders pattern going towards the upside. Just a scenario, right? Why significant here? Bounce right here at this zone, this range where we bounced before, creating a higher low. Okay. Okay. See that? You see that? Now, once this is formed, this is called a gap fill and reversal. Now, a gap fill and go is slightly different, because what you're going to see, not price reverse, but you're going to see price continue towards the downside to maybe retest some of these other lows that you see here on the chart, because we have two gaps. Remember, we have two gaps. All right. And so this could be on some ironic news, right? Doesn't mean it's bad, but it could be a healthy pullback for a very strong market. OK, and that's what I want to say about the SPY. All right. Same thing with Tesla. The same scenario with the NASDAQ. We can remember NASDAQ is with the Tesla chart. And so that's what it follows. All right. So now that you see the code, you understand, right? You understand, you see something. You can go back and study this video. You're no longer reacting. You're anticipating now. All right. So let's think about closing. All right, let's think about closing, because the market is rallying. We're ripping. You've seen these moves. You're prepared. You're excited. All right. Now, if you want to join the community and trade with us live, you have that opportunity to trade with us live. If you need mentorship and/or a free discovery call, this is available for you down below in the links. All right. This is your moment. This is your moment, right, with us, right, where most traders fall back into the illusion, you're the opposite. You don't. You stay awake. You stay woke. The market is a living system. It rewards awareness and it punishes emotion. Okay? If this hits you, if you see the code like I do, then hit that like button, drop a comment below that says, I'm unplugged, I'm ready. All right. Make sure you subscribe with the bell on, because when I drop value. This is the Unique Trading Group, where strategy meets mindset and discipline turns into income. Trade smart, stay sharp, and remember, in the matrix of the markets, we are Neo. You guys stay blessed. Until the next time, peace.